It's just a paradigm shift. Like, this is a different way to think. And I love it when things that are very transformational are simple. This is the Passive 25K podcast, a podcast built around the vision of creating wealth through passive income for ourselves and others. The idea of creating income while you sleep seems like a dream come true, but for most professionals, turning this into a reality is a different story. On this show, you will hear real people breaking passive income streams down to the basics, giving you the next steps to start your own passive income journey. If you're new to the show, my name is Kyle Reedstrom from Fargo, North Dakota, where I get to work with my team of agents and investors each day to complete our goal of $25,000 a month in passive income. Now, let's get right into our next conversation. This is the Passive 25K podcast with Kyle Reedstrom. We are the home of Passive Income University and Cashflow coaching if you're looking for that one-on-one. We help working professionals with one source of income start and complete their passive income journey. Quick story, building businesses online. Our community has been talking about this. It's kind of one of those scary things. People have done it. There's been scams out there. The cool part is in our community, we're talking about it. We'd love you to come and check out our community to talk about new revenue streams, things that like this. Find us at p25kg.com if you're looking for next steps. But today, we are here to talk to my friend Matt Plumer, killing debt to create more cash flow. Matt, super glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Kyle, what's up, dude? Good to see you.
Yes, good to see you as well. Matt, we're new friends. We've gotten to know each other a little more, and I love what you're up to. You have a real estate background. Now you're a coach helping people build stress-free wealth. And wealth doesn't always have those two words before it.
Sure.
So I really love that, and I love your branding around that. I want you to introduce yourself to our audience a little bit. Give us what you're all about.
Yeah, man. I would say at the core, not only I'm an entrepreneur, but I love seeing people win in whatever way, shape, or form. And so, if I can help them through, the transformations that I've been blessed to have, whether it's, losing 100 pounds a decade ago, becoming sober, kicking a sports gambling addiction, accepting and finding Jesus through a spiritual transformation, and then also a financial transformation that has, paid off $500,000 worth of debt, helped our family relocate because we've increased our income and our passive income, right? I call that raising the bridge, not necessarily always reducing the water, right? To Las Vegas, happily married, 12 plus years. My wife, Melinda, our two amazing dogs, Salt and Pretzel, killing it there in Las Vegas. So at the core, I'm a real estate agent, entrepreneur at heart. However, helping people and leading people to find that stress-free wealth by stabilizing the present to structure the future, by avoiding the mess that I stepped in and allowing them to go find that journey and help them and lead them on that way.
Matt, that's so important that, you sit in a position where you've been there, done that, and I think you're now a testimony and a way out, and we're talking about debt. That's scary. That's heavy, man. Debt is hopeless. I mean, you've been there. I think there might be people listening that are there right now. But on the contrary, getting rid of debt is such an amazing momentum play. But most people listening on here they're making a lot of offensive plays. They're going for income. They're increasing their income. Like you said, they're raising the bridge, maybe not focus on the water. I want to just hear your thoughts on debt. I mean, you see it, you've been there.
Well, our greatest wealth building tools are income. And I think when we acknowledge that, and hey, if we can go make more money, majority of people listening to this podcast already make enough money. Now, they may not make enough money to buy back their time. They may not make enough money to go do exactly what it is that they want to go do, and that's fine. However, most people make enough money. So we have to look at the spending, right? And whether it's the current spending or the past spending. But if our income, right? My wife's a W-2 employee. I'm self-employed with several streams of income. However, That's our greatest wealth building tool. And if that's all going towards obligations, credit cards, car payments, mortgages, student loans, medical debt, et cetera, tax debt, if it's all going towards obligations, it cannot go towards opportunities. And so many people, because they've gotten to a place where, their lifestyle has either met and or exceeded their income, they have to go make more money rather than, it's easier to go make more money. However, if you're a nurse, you can go work more time, right? If you're a real estate agent, you can go sell more real estate. However, if you don't then not only go make more, but also then reduce and lower that water to create the margin, that's when you're going to be able to make it, right? Because it's money and paying off debt and creating stress-free wealth is the exact same way of how I lost 100 pounds, how anyone loses weight, which is you have to burn more than you consume, not, you have to consume less than you burn, not go burn more than you consume, because you'll never outrun your fork.
Yes.
And the same thing goes, you'll never outearn your spending. Like, it's just, you're eating from a bottomless plate.
This really hits home for me. I definitely, as a person that's forward thinking, offensive player, I think I believe in that. You can out earn your spending, and you kind of, it's really behavioral change here that we're talking about, Matt, right? I mean,
yeah,
it sounds,
wealth building.
I hate the idea of,
wealth building is all about behavior. Wealth building is all about behavior. It's not math, right? We learned math for, 12 years plus 4 years plus in business, right? So we got math, right? 2 + 2 is 4, right? So this is all behavior modification, right?
yes.
We know we're not supposed to eat 3 Snickers a day. We know it, right? So we have to change the way that we behave with our money, right? We have to change the person in the mirror before we can worry about interest rates and more streams of income.
Yes. Yeah. I think you're right. And I want to get into that a little bit, like tactically, let's say this is a wake-up call. When you're talking about some of the first steps that come to like shifting your mindset around getting after this debt, shifting your mindset around spending, and starting to make moves in the right direction, what comes up for you when you're coaching? What are the first baby steps here?
3 steps to a transformation. And this is any transformation, Kyle. I look back over the last decade of having those significant transformations, and the very first step in any one of them is awareness. And writing down exactly what the facts are today. Man, in 2012, I was 293 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. $500,000 in debt. Buying things because I could afford payments. Making $150,000. Making money was not my problem. And so I had to think about all of those things. I was okay, and you can't change them all in the instant, right? But I had to become aware and cast no judgment on myself that, hey, I've done the best I can. It's okay to be where I am. It's not okay to stay here. And so that awareness will do 50% of the heavy lifting. And the awareness is just truly an accumulation of the decisions and the choices and the facts up until today. And the facts are truth, and the truth will set you free. So when you have that moment of clarity and just write down all of the stuff, I weigh this much, I have this much debt, this is the relationship I have with my spouse, this is how I talk to my kids, like whatever it is, I don't care what it is, I just want you to acknowledge it. And then we take it step by step. What's the next decision? Maybe it's, hey, I need to stop using credit cards. I'm going cash, right? I'm going debit card. right? Maybe I need to write down all of my household expenses. Maybe I need to write down everything that I'm eating. Maybe I need to, have that conversation with my spouse that says, hey, Melinda, we have an issue. I'm taking responsibility for it. However, this is what's happened in the last 30 days. We've made this, we've spent this. And take full responsibility, not you bought this, you bought this, you bought this. It's just what it is, man. Like, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it other than like return things on Amazon. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just the same, Kyle, that if you're trying to lose weight and you don't plan your food and you go to In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A or whatever it is, and you don't put that stuff into MyFitnessPal before you eat it, dude, it's too late. You've already eaten the double-double.
Yeah.
Right? Too late. So that awareness around the facts of today and truly where you're spending your money today will help you. Like, most people don't need coaching past that. They can figure it out, that we're like, okay, whoa, coaching session done. Now you fix it.
So you're, I love that awareness, writing it down, like literally just giving you, it loses its power when you just acknowledge it, like shine the light on it. Right. I mean, that's what you're talking about. Once we get past awareness, cause I'm feeling, even some of that in any area of life, like just, hey, put down the facts, put down the truth. Where do we go from there?
You got to make a decision. My decision a decade ago, decade plus, like I was told, right, by my coach, who was a counselor, marriage counselor. I'm sitting on one side of the couch, Melinda's sitting on the other, crying and not mad at me. She wants her husband. She just wants Matt, right? She wants Matt to be around. She wants Matt to be present. I can't be present when, I have 16 Coors Lights on the golf course and I'm staying up until 11 o'clock to see if the Lakers cover, right? Or, whatever. If I just ate Burger King in the morning and McDonald's on the way home from the bar, like I'm not present. Right. And so I was told I was going to be dead, divorced, in jail, or broke within 12 months. If I didn't make a change, a decision. Now, I did not want to stop drinking. Bro, I loved, my beer and whatever shot was first up, right? And I loved drinking, playing golf. I loved drinking and gambling on the basketball. I didn't want to stop smoking. She could care less about that. But I could control what I put in my mouth. And I knew I needed to lose weight. Man, I was 293. I was Tommy Bahama XX, Adidas golf pants, size 42-30, right? I was a big boy. I didn't fit on the couch. That was my moment that it became real when I couldn't get comfortable sitting on a $5,000 sofa. I remember going into appointments, Kyle, and looking at the chair that didn't have the arms so I wouldn't, I could fit and I could be comfortable. And so that decision was the path of least resistance, because I could control what I put in my body. So I started drinking a meal replacement shake instead of going to McDonald's day one. That's all I did. No working out, no program, no social media. Just, dude, drink this shake instead of going to Burger King or McDonald's. That's it. And as I started building up those victories, man, it was easier to stop drinking. But here's the thing that I think is so powerful, is I didn't make a decision to stop drinking. It was just part of the process. And I would always show up to my coach, my counselor, every week, and he'd ask me how many days sober I was. And I was like, I'm 3. He's like, great job. But then the next Thursday, I wasn't 10. It was 3. And the next Thursday, it wasn't 10, it was 2. And he's like, are you going to do this or not? Because I can see you're getting smaller. And then I made a decision. I had one or two drinks, downtown Georgetown, waterfront. And I was driving home on 66. And I was so pissed that I just pissed away 6 days of sobriety. And I said, I'm never doing it again. I've never drank since. Decision. So then we go 2 more years, and it takes 2 years of sobriety, man, to realize we're $500,000 in debt. Now that's all of it, right? That's mortgage, student loans, IRS, all of it. And so we had to make another decision. And that's when I got plugged into Dave Ramsey and Financial Peace University, because there's no better person on the planet to help you unpack, right, through the 7 baby steps. Now, which also led me into church, because we took Financial Peace University, which later that year, or later the next year, is when I accepted Jesus. So, like, those decisions, right, to pay off our debt, those decisions to accept Jesus, the decisions to stop drinking, the decisions to own my issues and have conversations with Melinda and encourage her to walk alongside of me, not drag. Although there are heel marks down Loudoun County Parkway from our house to the church, to Financial Peace University. They're still there. I was in DC, 3 weeks ago. I went out to see if those heel marks were still there, right? Still
yes.
There. So, like, sometimes we cut too close to the bone and we cut bone. I cut bone, right? However, looking back, it was one of the best decisions we've ever made. And so once you make that decision, then it all just becomes the step 3 is intentionality. I'm intentional with not drinking today. And I've been intentional every day for the last 11 plus years. And now I'm at a resort out of town, right? I'm at a convention with 2,000 people. And the thought of alcohol doesn't even come into my system, right? Right? Because I've been intentional for, 4,000 days, right? I've been intentional not to use a credit card. I've been intentional to make sure I track or I think about what I eat before I eat it. I'm intentional. 90% of my coaching clients are women. I'm intentional on when I send them messages or follow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody grabs a hold of my phone and they see me texting, a female client at 8 p.m., it's one of the hardest things I've had to adjust when I moved to Vegas. It's 5:30, right? I'm sending messages and I'm like, whoa. Like, she's sitting, next to her husband, and her coach is sending her a message at 9 p.m., right? When it comes through, right? So you have to be intentional with everything, man.
Yeah.
Because that's what helps the transformation happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to be intentional with every dollar, right? We have to be intentional with every dollar.
Yes. And, the cool thing is, and I know the listeners out there are a bunch of people that hear me say, the famous quote is, if you're not implementing, you're either here to get entertained right now, or you're here to implement what you're hearing. And so what you just said is one small step. That's all you took, was that tiny, tiny step. And then that led to a trail of wins, just a huge domino effect. Yeah. And you just kept stacking on the wins, and and I also heard another theme there. you did put some people in your life.
Huge.
That was very important. That
Yeah.
was key. And I think if you have some wins going on and some who's in your life, I just really think there's some powerful change that can happen. And for anybody that's listening to this, I mean, what we're here to talk about, you start creating debt. We're talking about the passive 25K vision. We're talking about creating the financial freedom you're chasing. It's just we're playing the defensive strategy of getting healthy first. Because if you're healthy, you can make this happen a lot faster than if you're going to be your own self-sabotage along the journey, man.
Yeah. And I think, in all like retrospect, Kyle, like I think getting healthy and taking on your debt, right, and increasing your income, or saying, hey, we make 80 grand a year, or spouse A makes, 80 grand and spouse B makes, self-employed. Maybe they're a real estate agent, maybe they're a business owner, an entrepreneur, right? And they make, $120, but it might be inconsistent, right? Is being offensive in that relationship with the money and having like fierce conversations around it with each other and say, hey, we're going to be offensive and get rid of this debt, right? You have to get so mad at it, right? You have to get so ticked off at this debt. And again, there's no judgment around the awareness, right? We've already done it, right? And we have to start paying off the debt, right? And so many people are like, I want to save money first. I want to get that emergency fund. No. I want you to get ferociously, Ramsey says it, gazelle intense, right? Around paying off that debt. And most people don't, because they're afraid to admit that they already spent the money on the car, on the college, right? On the credit card. They've already taken the vacation. Now they got to pay for it, right? So just admit, hey, I bought the car. Now I got to go pay it off.
Yeah.
Right? Because I can promise a paid for car will drive better when it's not dragging a payment book. Right?
Yeah.
The vacation is more fun when you don't bring the vacation home.
Oh man. So true there.
Yeah. Like,
and it is, this is the behavior change of like, it's just as your brain operates with the path of least resistance that's created. I mean, it can become a norm for a car payment.
It is.
Now, I know we had a conversation. When you get rid of a dang car payment, it seems simple. It seems justifiable. My low interest rate, man, that's a new that's a big win, and it takes a behavioral change to do that.
Most people won't realize they have a car payment until they don't have a car payment. Same thing with me with back issues. Like I've struggled with back issues for the last 5 years. I herniated a disc in 2018. I write down every day my number one goal. And I'm talking like $10 million net worth, $50,000 a month of passive income. The number one goal I have, period, is to wake up pain-free. Period. Man. And when I wake up and I make that first move and I make that second move and I'm like, we're going to have a good day today. And there's no pain. Or I know if there's something a little tight that I just know that 3 minutes on that lacrosse ball or that foam roller over there, like I have to take new luggage with me because I bring a foam roller on vacation.
Yes.
Right? So like, but that's the intentionality. That I know that if I do my stretches and foam roll every day, I know at 50, I'm 190 pain-free. I know that if I take $500 every Monday instead of being and being intentional with it, that's going to be $25,000 you can pay off a car in a year. And most people will take that $500 and it'll just bleed into the universe.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? Because they're trying to save up and they're trying to do something else. When I'm like, hey, let's just build the habit of doing it every Monday, where maybe it's $25 or it's $50 or it's $500. whatever it is, we're just going to do that. And that's just a bill we pay on Monday.
Yes. Yeah, you know, that's the cool thing, Matt. The dollar amounts don't matter with this stuff.
No.
It's not about the dollar amounts. It could be $5. It's about really keying on this. It might look like a mountain, but it's just the smallest step that's taken daily. I just want to be such an encourager to people listening that inaction is your biggest fear with this stuff. You know, sometimes starting a passive income stream or all this stuff, you know, that's exciting to read that book or jump into that coursework or listen to that podcast. But man, for this stuff, it's just tiny little steps. And, you know, another buzzword I want to get to is budget, Matt. We're going to take a little break, but when I come back, I want to get into budgeting. You and I have talked about this a little bit. I really think that budgeting can be power. You've explained this. I'm excited for you to explain this to our listeners. We will be right back with Killing Debt to Create More Cash Flow with Matt Plumer. Hey gang, really hope you're enjoying the episode. I want to take just a little bit of time to highlight another episode that we have, episode 35, Freedom Through an Online Business with Sophie Howard. We shot this episode and got super excited about the offer that she had to provide, which is a community and a course teaching you how to buy an online business and create a truly passive revenue stream. When it comes to the passivity scale, Sophie's stuff is all the way 100% passive. She's living a fully passive lifestyle right now, doing things that she loves and working in businesses that she's really passionate about. And so if you haven't yet, check out that episode 35. And if you're curious about Sophie's program, there's actually an affiliate link in the show notes of that episode. You obviously get Sophie's course and her community, but it also helps us fund the operations we're doing with the Passive 25K podcast and helps us achieve our passive income goals too. So we think this is cool synergy. We think it's great value for us, for her, and for you as someone that's looking to add a revenue stream. Definitely check it out. And now back to the show. We are back on the Passive 25K podcast. Our episode is Killing Debt to Create More Cash Flow with Matt Plumer. Matt's jumping in to next steps to do this stuff, you guys. That's a scary thing. And you know what? Another thing that's kind of scary, buzzwordy, is budgets. You know, that's not that fun. I even tense up a little bit, Matt, when I hear the word budget. I'm like, man, for a guy that likes freedom, chasing freedom, you know, budget feels a little restricting. Okay, so talk to us about that, and even how to make them less scary.
Yeah. Know? So that's when I first heard that term budget. I wrote it down in 2014. If I go back to one of my journals, we had our rock bottom moment financially in the December of 13. And it was when we took out our second 401k loan. I was in 2012. Melinda's was in 2013. She had no idea the magnitude of like the stress I was under and the problems we were in. Like, so it was like hard to the core that I had to have that conversation with her. It was like, hey, we need to find $12,000 to $15,000 or 20 grand fast. Right. And so I wrote down 2014, my number one goal was to do a budget. I didn't know what I didn't know. I had no idea. And so to both of us, it was like felt restrictive. However, we talked about it earlier that this is a behavior issue, not a math issue, right? 2 minus 2 is 0, period. So if the word budget is actually just telling our money what to do, so we don't wonder where it went. That's all it is. So if we're going to make $10,000 this month, and we know that we know how much money we're going to make on the 30th of the month. We know how much money is going to come in, plus or minus $100, or plus or minus $1,000. You know how much money you're going to make. So all a budget is just telling our money what to do, that $10,000 on what to do before we get our grubby little paws on it and screw up the plan. Right? And so now when you look at it, it's like, wait a minute, doing a zero-based budget or budgeting the $10,000 that we have in our account to plan the next $10,000, all that is freedom.
Yeah.
Because now I know because our mortgage is $2,000 and we're going to say we're going to eat $1,000 worth of food or $500 worth of food.
Yep.
And hey, we know how much our utility bills are going to be. And we know how much our insurance costs are. And we know what our minimum payments are. Like, we have those payments memorized. What our Chase card, our Amex card, or our car payment to Toyota, we know what those numbers are. But we have no idea on how much we spend on food or cigarettes or alcohol or whatever, right? Or gambling or fun or entertainment or the golf
or Amazon,
whatever. Who cares, right? And so there's freedom in saying, hey, well, this is how much money we're going to make. Here's how we're going to spend it. And so it's just being adults and having a conversation with yourself or your partner or your spouse or your accountability partner or your coach or your friend that's on this journey with you. All it's saying is like, hey, I'm going to commit to saying this is how much we're going to spend. And then when you do it and you look back and you're like, where'd that extra $1,000 come from?
Yeah.
Raise. I'll be darned. I didn't spend $2,000 on my Chase card and there's extra money in my bank account. I'll be darned. What if I do this again? And I really tighten up this one category. Or instead of using a debit card, I go and I'm like, hey, you know what? This month we're going to go to the ATM and we're going to go get $80. And we're going to say, hey, this is how much we're going to take to eat out on Friday. And when this is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
You eat food differently.
It's just a paradigm shift. Like, this is a different way to think. And I love it when things that are very transformational are simple. Because I have been there, especially I want to speak to the entrepreneurs that there might be salespeople out there, sales entrepreneurs, real estate agents. Have you had the moment where you're like, I thought I made this much money, but where is it? You know, and telling your money what to do, tell your money what to do is what I wrote down.
Yeah.
The power in pre-decision is so cool. And it's fun. It's actually fun to abide by that. Like you say, you start to make decisions saying, hey, I'm going to fit into this. The cool rule out there that this is called is Parkinson's law, where, you know, you'll only eat as much as how big a plate you have, you know?
Yesterday, I've been, Kyle, February of 2014, we did our first budget. We've missed once.
Wow.
Right? Last night, I'm at a conference, right? Marriott, gorgeous property. Have some of my team members here. We sit down to eat. I'm going to put everything on the room just to make sure, like the finance, like the accounting process is all easy. Dude, when you put things on the room, the tab is unlimited.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you get the appetizer, you get the dinner, and you get the dessert or the drinks. Obviously, I don't drink, but like whatever. Tab comes and it's $67. I'm like, it's me. Like, how is it $67? And it's because there was an unlimited amount of money that it could have been. Now, I have, X amount of dollars budgeted for the trip, right? So, I didn't break any rules. However, it can happen like that to the best person who's been doing it for a decade. Right? And so if it can happen to me, or I do it a decade into this, the person who's going around with their Amex has no shot.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue. I mean, they don't have a prayer. They have to go make more money to pay the Amex next month.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this freedom, right? Now I came to this event knowing that I'm going to spend $3,000 on golf, my team, training, buying the next event ticket. Like, I came planned for that. But 95% of the people here have no clue how much they're going to spend.
Yeah.
Right? They just released, hey, we have an event in October. We have an event in Maui in January. We're going to Cabo in March. And people are just going to be like, click, 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 buy tickets, buy tickets, buy tickets. And 3 months from now, they're going to be like, right, rates are 8% and we can't go to the event, right?
Yeah.
And so now it causes all this stress and anxiety, right?
100%.
So the two things that stress real estate agents and entrepreneurs and couples out the most is inconsistent income and financial disorganization. We fix those two things, we've eliminated 95% of the things that are going to cause stress and anxiety in a relationship or in a business.
Here's the thing that keeps coming back to me here. This episode is like, I don't want to be boring and make sure I fit into the supper budget when I'm on this conference. And this stuff can start to feel restrictive. I know I have these thoughts, but you guys, this is not about making sure you spend $80 on your date night because you pre-decided that. This is exactly in line with a vision for $25,000 a month in passive income, because what this is it's discipline creation.
Yeah.
And the only way we can get across that finish line is changing the behaviors and becoming financially healthy, becoming financially disciplined. I guarantee you the person right now that I maybe would run into that's achieved the goal that I've put out there, $25,000 a month in passive income. If I met that person, met that couple, that person would be financially healthy, would be financially disciplined. And it's not because they got there and then that happened, it's because that happened. So this stuff is part of the process for you to get to where you want to go with your vision.
Yeah. So one thing I want everyone to just meditate on is consistency is greater than intensity. It's going to take 90 to 180 days to figure out this budget stuff. However, we were consistent and we were intense for a season, but we've been consistent for 11 years. Right, or 10 years.
Yeah.
That because we were consistent and we were intense for a season led us to sell a house, make a move, be patient with a sense of urgency, raise the bridge, reduce the water, really raise the bridge, still, keeping the moderate, level of water, which is spending, and go from 1,000 square foot apartment in a high rise to a 3,000 square foot $1 million house in Las Vegas. Zero stress. Now that took 2, 3, 4 years as well to just really plan that. But my income, our income in 2019 was when we built the plan we want to have an online business that allows us to live anywhere where we wanted to live. No snow, no rain, tax friendly, golf 200 days a year, right? Outdoor quality of life. Now it snowed 5 days in Las Vegas this past winter. Right. However, that plan was built when we were making, $10,000 a month combined. Yeah. Now it's much more than that, but because we did all of the things, we were consistent for a long period of time, we were able to make that move stress-free. As stress-free as a move across the country and buying a house, right? And funding a backyard project and. It's just, It's different. But the practice is the same. And the best smile I get every single month is when it comes to the 28th and 29th. And Melinda comes to me and says, hey, we need to figure out next month's budget. And I get all giddy and I was like so excited, but it's only because she wants to know how much fun money she gets that next month.
Yeah.
Because
But that's
her
fun.
account that we have a plan for is like at $6.43. So she's like, hey, we need to replenish this. So let's talk about the budget.
Yes. That's
Right?
cool though. That's
Oh,
better than the looking back, man. That's so cool.
I mean, what's the alternative?
Yes. It's having shame around it, remorse.
And yelling and screaming and complaining and like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And so part of the stress-free wealth is that, hey, we've got to plan our money before we spend it.
Matt, let's get into some tools around this.
Yeah.
Tools you use to stick with this stuff. Like this doesn't just, that's kind of the scary part of this is like, what if I start and I don't keep going consistent? Like you said, in 9 years, you missed one time. How do we stick to it? What tools do you use to make yourself successful?
Rock and a chisel.
All right.
No, back when I did a budget back in 2014, man, like the iPhone was just like barely around. Right? There weren't any apps that did this. I mean, it was pen and paper. And I'll never forget, man, we went all cash. Like when we went to the grocery store, it was cash. When we went out to eat, it was cash. When we went to the gas station, it was cash. So like,
which is a simple change. Like that can increase the pain of purchase, right? That's the thought.
yeah,
there.
because it sends a signal to your brain, right? When you're like, I got to spend $80, bought a $106 golf shirt today. No, it was planned, it was budgeted. But if I was going to use cash versus a room charge, I guarantee you I would have thought differently. But I knew I was going to go buy it, right? But going in there and ripping off, 6 of these 20s, it would have felt different. 100%, right? 100%. So the first tool I want you to do is I want you to go back to pick a category when you do your budget. Find a category that you use cash. Food.
One category.
Food, eating out, or groceries are the easiest.
I'm just thinking about like paying cash for gas right now. It's so convenient. But it's like, that's not the point. I'm looking for behavioral change. I'm not looking for convenience anymore. Convenience is what got me here. So walking in to the gas station, that would feel totally different, man. Look at how they've designed this against us, right?
Well, here's something, Kyle. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good.
That's convicting.
Right? So adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. So we're going to pick one category. I don't care what it is. We're going to use cash. Okay. That's number one. Number two is there are 2 budgeting apps that are hands down better than anything else on the planet. We personally use Every Dollar, which is through as a Ramsey product. The other is YNAB, You Need a Budget. 2 different ways of looking at doing a budget. One is zero base, where, hey, we're going to make $12,000. We're going to allocate $12,000. YNAB is, hey, we have $8,000 in our bank account. We're going to allocate those $8,000 and stretch that money as far as it goes. And then more money is going to come in and we're going to allocate that money. So both are different. They are different. I don't know if one is better than the other than the fact that I've been using the Ramsey stuff for the longest. So that's just what I use.
Why are these better hands down? Is it because of the zero base balance, zero budget?
It's one, they have both of them have kind of gamified the process.
Nice.
Right. Anything else is just more of a tracking, right? Versus, hey, we're going to be intentional with this money. And then we track it, but those are by far the best two.
Matt, you're doing this with, is this just personal finances, or is this like you're running with business and your personal?
Business and personal, right? So if you have $20,000 that comes in as self-employment income, a couple of real estate commissions or coaching income, or, your rental properties or whatever, right? Hey, if $20,000 comes in, hey, I'm sending this, after thousands of conversations, we've also identified that most entrepreneurs don't make as much money as they think, spend more than they care to admit, which causes to be behind on taxes and/or retirement. So when 20 grand comes in, here's what's going to happen to 20 grand. And then we just give it kind of rules and responsibilities, standards. Hey, this is going to, a profit. This is going to owner's compensation. We're kind of getting into some inside baseball language with profit first, but hey, this is what's going to be, this is my money. This is the government's money, and this is my business's money.
Yeah.
And then all that is just a budget, right? And then we budget and we tell the expenses what to do, right? We have our admin, we have our team, we have this, we have that, right? Marketing, et cetera, coaching. Then we have the money that comes home, and then we tell that money what to do.
Yeah.
And the great part about money is it's amoral, Kyle. Right? Just like a rock or a brick. Right? I can take a brick, I can throw it through this glass window, or I can take a brick and I can build this hotel. The brick doesn't care. This money doesn't care what it does. It just doesn't. So there's only three things we can do with it. We can give and be generous. We can save and invest. And we get to enjoy it. So if this is your 10 grand, right? And at one point I had hundreds. Those are way better props. If I have $80, right? I'm going to give this, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
This could be $8,000. This could be $80,000. But all of these dollars are going to get a name and a job before I go and spend it.
How do you manage your time with this? Like as far as rhythms, I'd love to hear.
Yeah.
Is this taking up a couple parts of your month, or do you have?
Yep.
How does that look for you?
Daily is daily. Right. And I'm not going to take credit for that. That's my buddy Rocky Garza. Right. But daily is daily. So I look at my bank account and I look at every dollar every day. I kind of like it. Every dollar every day. Right. Some of my coaching clients call it everyday dollar. And I'm like, that's not the name of it, but whatever. You get the point. I've said it enough that they get the point, right? So every dollar every day, every dollar every day. Now, I'm not worshiping over it. I'm not holding it up on a pedestal. I just want to make sure that what I said was going to happen has happened. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not in there Scrooge McDuck counting all of my ducats and my shekels, right? I'm just looking at, did anything happen that wasn't planned? That actually happened this month. I made 2 payments to somebody. I screwed up. I went to go change it. It was too late. The automatic payment came out and my second payment came out. I was like, yeah. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't look at it every day.
Yeah.
Because if you do it every week, man, we do too much, like too many things happen. So
yes.
There's 47 transactions. Now.
Yeah, that's scary. And that's stressful. That feels stressful, you know?
Then you have 47 transactions you have to track in every dollar. And it's like, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah. How
right?
fast do you give up on that? Yep.
Right. So, I mean, dude, it's the first app I open on my phone. I go to it. I go to every dollar. I swipe down. I let it sink. If anything's there, I look at it. And then I track it. I track it quick. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I look at my bank account. Did anything come out? Because obviously there's a little bit of a delay. Right. And so then I'm done. Right. It's over. So I do that every day. On Fridays, I circle up and I have a conversation. We have a conversation before we close our computers for the day. Melinda and I will have a conversation because I have a category that's called Ask Melinda. So I'm not asking her every day, what was Target, what was Walmart, what was Amazon, what was this. Right. So I'm doing that in a very compartmentalized, hey, Melinda, what's 3746 as she's going to take the dogs out?
Yeah, that again is stressful. So this
That is
is smart.
stressful, right?
Couples out there, this is how to communicate about this so
Right.
it
So
doesn't
hey, we
create
have
stress.
a 15-minute block at 3:30 on a Friday that we do this. That's all we do at 3:30 on Fridays. Right? Because now we don't have to worry about it over the weekend and whatever. I also log into QuickBooks on Fridays to make sure that if my bookkeeper has any questions, I want to get ahead of this so I don't have to wait all the way. Again, 10, 15 minutes max. Every month I'm tracking net worth. And then every quarter I'm reviewing profit and loss statements.
Cool. That's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
And great food for thought on people that are starting to get their heads around going down this path. I think there's some amazing next steps built in here. Matt, man, you have given a lot to think about. I love this category. I love winning around this category. And there might be people that there's some despair around this category right now, but if this is the podcast that's going to prompt you, there's just the little baby steps that we laid out here. There's tiny little actions that you can take from this podcast. Matt, you actually have a killer boot camp coming up where you're taking people on a 6-week journey to create stress-free wealth game plans. I'm actually one of the attendants. I'm super excited to be doing that with you, Matt, and my wife, and we're actually having some team members in there. Dude, I'm jacked about that. How do more people find out about this? Tell us about that and how you could find more info.
Yeah. So I love, small intimate groups for a short period of time, right? That we can go and we can collapse all the information into a designated time frame. I think one of the things why people are challenged with this is that there is this massive amount of information out on the internet and YouTube and Instagram and all the places. And they take all year or 2 years or 3 years to learn how to do a budget when we can knock it out in 45 minutes, right? So nice. We collapse all of the time, effort, energy around the right things to get it done in 6 weeks, not 6 months. Now, we'll still work together for 6 months and 6 years, right? And I have people that are in my calendar for the last 3.5, 4 years, which is great, right? But we take step by step by step. So there's 2 parts of stress-free wealth. Stabilize the present, budgeting, planning, organization, conversations, financial date nights or financial, conversations, budget committee meetings, right? Stabilizing the present. Part 2, structure the future. Adding cash flow, right? Tax planning, making sure, the path of money, right? How to have savings and investing and how to truly go build wealth once all of our money is aimed at opportunities, not obligations. Now, we're not going to be able to pay off all the debt in 6 months or 6 weeks, but we're going to be able to knock out $1,000 or $2,000, right? We're going to be able to go and set up these bank accounts in your system and the fundamentals. I mean, we're 60, almost, we'll be, 45 to 60 days. So we're going to be well on our way to building the right lead domino, the right habit, which is having a relationship with your money.
Well, cool, Matt. Where do we find this? Where can people sign up?
It's at the website. I'll drop it in. It's financialfitcoaching.com/freedom. Financialfitcoaching/freedom. That's where everyone can go sign up. Bring your spouse. Bring a partner. Like it's built for a +1.
Yep.
There's 6 weeks. I teach on Tuesdays, Q&A on Thursdays for 6 consecutive weeks. We're gonna have a call during and after to just really kind of hone in your plan. As I mentioned, this is going to be an intimate group. It's a safe place. We're all a mess, right? When we start this journey. So just have no shame and no cast any judgment on yourself. Just if you're feeling it and called to your heart, do it.
Nice.
I promise you will not regret having 12 conversations around this over the next 6 weeks by Labor Day. Like, this thing is done.
Nice. Cool. Well, that's a great resource, Matt. Thanks for taking the deep dive into this topic of money, budgets, debt. I truly believe in the power and the work you're doing, man. And I love your story. I'm looking very forward to next week. And I'll end our episode by asking you, the audience, what's that action step that you can take based on what you've heard today? Don't wait. Action is key. You know, I always say it. And if you're currently on your passive income journey, reach out to us. Tell us your story. We truly believe that we can accomplish financial freedom better together. This has been another episode of the Passive 25K podcast with Kyle Reedstrom. If you liked what you heard today, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video so we can get more of these conversations out to people that are curious about starting their passive income journey. And if you are thinking about starting your passive income journey, the next steps are to go to our website at p25kg.com and hit apply. This will get you into our application to join our community called Passive Income University, where you can learn everything there is to know about starting and completing your passive income journey. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll catch you next time for another conversation on the Passive 25K podcast.